Shake Moody.
They got it! Oh my god! We won! Yes! Yes!
Ow.
Sorry. Oh,
That was
Mom.
my fault. I didn't...
Yes! Come on! Oh my god!
What a game, Swiss cat.
Yes! 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 Stack the wins.
Not gonna lie, yeah, oh my god.
They won. They won. I can't believe it. They won. Yes. Yes. They won. Oh, yes. Oh. I can't do this for another 13 weeks. The Bears win. The Bears win. Win. W-I-N. Winners on the road at Washington against Jayden Daniels. Caleb Williams leads a game-winning drive, and they win by the exact same score as they won 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas, 25-24. I still can't believe it. I still cannot believe the Bears ended up winning this football game. I went into today hoping for the best. I knew that Washington would have home field advantage. They have momentum. The Bears are coming off a bye, something that they have lately been very bad at. The Bears have been very bad coming off a bye in the last decade plus. They've been really bad off the bye. And they came off the bye and played Washington last year. They were coming off a 3-game winning streak. They're coming off a 2-game winning streak going into this one. I can't believe they still won. I can't believe it, man. I'm so overjoyed. I'm smiling through it all. I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe. This is insane. Back-to-back wins for the Bears, despite miscues, despite some problems, despite having things not go their way for the majority of the game, they still won. Guys, what world am I living in? We have a coach and a quarterback and a team that can win and fight through adversity. This is amazing. For the last half decade, ever since they made the playoffs in 2018, they had to have everything go right for them to win football games. It felt like there weren't very many occasions where this team would have a couple of miscues and make some mistakes, but still end up winning a tight game on the road, against a tough team, a big game too, not just a random game in the noon Central Time slot. We're talking about primetime Monday Night Football, and they win on the road. I'm still shocked, because you look at some of these other, because you look at especially the last half decade, how many times has this team really overcome adversity to win football games? The start of 2020 was definitely a good start. A 17-point comeback against the Lions, a 16-point comeback against the Falcons. They beat Tom Brady on Thursday night. I mean, they were 5-1 going into Week 7. It felt great there. Since then, it's been a lot of getting in their own way, and they can't find ways to win close games. Again, Kevin Byard said it after the Bears won Week 4 against the Raiders. The book on this team is that if you keep the game close, they're going to lose. This is a culture win, and so is tonight. Tonight, even more so. The Raiders are not a great team right now. They're 1-5. They've really struggled this season. Or actually, no, they're 2-4. Why am I saying they're 1-0? They won yesterday against the Titans. They're 2-4. It doesn't matter. Still, they won a close game in a game they probably shouldn't have won against the Raiders. They come into this one, and they have some miscues. They have some problems. They stumble through portions of this game, and when it's all said and done, they come away with a big, big win. And man, that is the culture win. That is the statement win. That is a signature win. That is a culture-changing win. Now look, was this Caleb Williams' best game? No. But it was one of his better games, I think, in my opinion. Had a couple of questionable moments, but really the only time I ever felt like really frustrated at him was when he took a sack on third down and he just refused to throw away the football near the end of the first half. That was really the only moment where I was just like, dude. But outside of that, like, he played a pretty clean game. And you know what? You know why he won this game? Didn't turn the ball over. You can argue that Jayden Daniels played an objectively better game than Caleb Williams. Sure, he didn't pass for as many yards as Caleb Williams, but he had 3 touchdown passes. But Jayden Daniels also coughed the ball up twice. He threw a pick in the red zone on their opening drive, and he fumbled the ball with 3 minutes to go with his team up 2 points trying to finish the game. He fumbled the ball. It's the first career fumble lost for Jayden Daniels, and it comes at the worst time, and he can't handle the greased pig trying to hand it off to Ja'Cory Croskey-Merritt. Bears pounce on it, and Caleb Williams leads a game-winning drive to go win the football game. And look, it's perfectly acceptable to say both quarterbacks played good tonight. I wouldn't say they played amazing. Again, Jayden Daniels, despite 3 touchdown passes, turned the ball over twice. He did throw for less yards than Caleb Williams, but he did have a higher completion percentage. Caleb Williams threw for 252 yards, no picks, only 1 touchdown, and he also ran for 1 on the ground. So 2 total touchdowns for Caleb Williams and no turnovers and more passing yards, but a lower completion percentage. I think both quarterbacks played well tonight. But it all comes down to who wins and who loses. Because that was really what decides this game and how each quarterback's performance is going to be perceived. Caleb Williams won the game. Jayden Daniels lost it. That was the reverse case last season. The thing is, both quarterbacks played a good game. Last year, Caleb Williams did not play well at all for 3 quarters and then played pretty well in the 4th quarter and actually put his team in a position to win. Jayden Daniels then put up a Hail Mary and showed that he's got the clutch gene. And then he later showed that more during the regular season against against Washington. He is playing for Washington. Against Dallas and against Philadelphia. So he showed that clutch gene. Caleb Williams showed the clutch gene tonight. Because with his team down 8 points in the 4th quarter, found a good pass on 3rd and 4 to DeAndre Swift, got the ball out of his hands, and DeAndre Swift is able to shed a tackle and take it the distance. You can call it luck. Troy Aikman called it luck on the broadcast. You can call it luck. Whatever happens, it's a 55-yard touchdown pass. It's the same amount of yards as if he threw it for 55 air yards. Doesn't matter. Counts all the same. 6 points. And then, of course, with the game on the line, after your defense forces a takeaway or is gifted a takeaway, however you want to put it, they go down the field and they put in position for a field goal to win the game, and that's exactly what happened. Caleb Williams only needed to throw 1 pass on that drive, but it was crucial on 3rd down, right out of the 2-minute warning. Good pass, good catch from Colston Loveland, and DeAndre Swift needed to do the rest. He did the rest. DeAndre Swift had a great game today. He is the offensive star. That running game that has been one of the worst in the league throughout 4 games. Had a great day. DeAndre Swift went for 108 on the ground and over 60 yards through the air. Combined for 175 total scrimmage yards and a touchdown. DeAndre Swift had a really rough start to this season, as he did last year. But he's stepped up tonight, averaging just over 3.3 yards per carry through 4 weeks. He averaged 7.7 tonight. He played great in bad conditions when running the football is going to be incredibly important because ball's a little slick. You don't know what can happen. Slips. Someone could slip running a route. Someone could stumble. Like, you don't know what can happen. Running the football is usually pretty safe in these conditions as long as the running back knows how to hold on to the football. And DeAndre Swift was able to hold on to the football here today. And he came up huge on that final drive. A couple of big carries. And you can tell this team knows how to utilize him now because some of those carries on that final drive, yeah, he broke for double-digit yards, were tosses to the outside with good run blocking. Good run blocking. Oh my gosh. The offensive line played really, really well in this one. The run blocking scheme was fantastic. Theo Bennett at left tackle had a big, big day. Big blocks. Same thing, Joe Tooney did a good job. Darnell Wright with a couple of big blocks. Like, I really thought this offensive line and some of the receivers, like, every now and then you got DJ Moore making a big block. You'll see someone else, like Zacchaeus, I think probably had a good block or two. Like, Odunze. Like, I think that this run block scheme has improved, and guys are able to execute on these plays, and they're able to break big yardage because DeAndre Swift does not get nearly as many yards if he doesn't have the run block scheme that he does on that final drive. So that's a massive team effort, even though all those yards are going to go to DeAndre Swift. Oh, and the tight ends, Komet and Loveland, I forgot to mention them. They had some good blocks out there as well, I bet. The thing is, this team overcame adversity. They had a 13-point lead, let that slip away, 17-16. It was then 24-16. They were down 8 points in the fourth quarter. They were trailing in the fourth quarter, man. Even though they had a halftime lead, Washington pulled ahead, and it felt like they had all the momentum, but they didn't quit. They fought back. They showed resiliency. They overcame mistakes that they made earlier in the ball game that cost them points. And they walk away victors. I mean, seriously, this is a culture win. In the passing game, DeAndre Swift led the team with 67 receiving yards, though 55 of them came on the touchdown catch and run. Luther Burden was the leading wide receiver pass catcher. He had 4 catches for 51 yards with a long of 37. I take that back to the third quarter. Caleb Williams, a really nice throw, intermediate to deep throw to Burden on a crosser. Makes the catch at the 30 of Washington. And he's able to somehow work 15 yards in yards after catch on that play. I don't know how he turned it into a bigger play. I mean, that was insane. That was great. DJ Moore got involved early with 3 catches and 42 yards, but was pretty absent, especially in the receiving game for the majority of this game. As early in this one, you could tell he wasn't feeling great, and he had to come out of the ball game for a little bit, but he was right back out there. So it sounded like, okay, maybe he's going to be out for the rest of the game, but no, he's right back out there. And then he has to go to the sideline again because he's feeling something, I think, around the rib cage. I don't know, something around the midsection, it feels like, because he was kind of hunched over. And so we're like, okay, maybe he's out there. Nope, he played through this entire game. And it's been brought to my attention through social media that DJ Moore has been escorted to a hospital in the D.C. area. So I don't know what's going on. But if DJ Moore played through a serious injury for the majority of this game, despite not getting targets and not getting the ball and all that wonderful stuff, dude, that's the definition of grit and tenacity. And that's exactly the type of guy I want on this team. Because I know there's been some trade rumors and some people have wanted DJ Moore out of town. That needs to stop. Especially if if it's something more serious, that's got to stop. Because if he played through something serious for the majority of this game, I gotta give that is dog mentality, man. That is grit. That is Mamba mentality, if you will. Roma Dunze had 2 catches for 32 yards. He should have had a third and a touchdown, but hey, what can you do about it now? They still won. We're not going to have to complain about this for the next week about how they got absolutely hosed, though they did get hosed. Which brings me to a topic that I don't like talking about. If you've been following me on this channel for a while, you know I don't talk about officiating that much, because usually if there's a bad call or two, it doesn't affect the game too much. They're in maybe first or second down scenarios, maybe they're earlier in the game, and it's like, okay, you have plenty of time to, make sure that those calls don't have a significant output on the outcome of the game, right? But tonight, it really did feel really, really questionable. The Bears were letting the refs dictate the outcome of this game, because Washington got 4 first downs via penalty, all on third down. 4 third down penalties defensively that gave Washington a first down. And there were 3 of them that I did not agree with. First off, in the first quarter, I think it was the opening drive, Montez Sweat gets called for a roughing the passer penalty. I didn't think it was roughing the passer. I've seen some people say that that's the rule. You can't do whatever Montez Sweat did or whatever. I think it's a load of BS, in my opinion. The guy, he pushed his hand on the face mask a little bit, but he didn't, get his finger in it. It wasn't like he pulled on the face mask. It felt like he just stuck it out there. I don't know. That was a moment where I'm like, just let the boys play. That doesn't need to be called. But that was probably the least egregious, because there were 2 penalties against Nahshon Wright on third downs that gave Washington first downs. First was illegal contact, also in the first half, that was just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, maybe I was thinking they'd see that he pushed up and got up under the neck right there and made him do one of those. That usually draws penalties. But no, he just pushed against the shoulder right here or whatever, and that was it. That's all he did. I thought that was ridiculous. And then he got called for a face mask later on in the first half, which they gave the worst angle for. I'm telling you, they gave the worst angle to show. You can see the helmet move down a little bit, so maybe there was a face mask there, but we'll never know, because guess what? The angle was so bad that you can't even see it. You can't even see it. So that's 3 first downs that Washington got in the first half by first down, or by penalty. And they were so infuriating, because they were big stops. All 3 of those plays had Washington fail the third down conversion, and they were gifted a first down. Now, I wouldn't be saying this if there were clear penalties, if there was a defensive holding. Oh yeah, he grabbed his jersey. That's a full fistful of jersey over here on a holding, on a defensive holding. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's a PI call that you shouldn't be able to initiate contact before the ball gets there. Blah blah blah. That I wouldn't be having this conversation, but it genuinely did feel like these calls were very, very ticky-tacky. And there was one penalty called against Washington that did give Chicago a first down in the third quarter. Right, maybe in the second half. I forget if it was the third or the fourth. But it was called against Mikey Samerstill. It was illegal contact. I didn't agree with it, but it gave the Bears a first down, and it kind of felt like it was a make-up call for one of those third down penalties called against the Bears defense. So it was whatever. But regardless, officiating across the board was pretty bad tonight. And the fourth penalty that gave the Commanders a first down was Jaquan Brisker getting called for a roughing the passer penalty on Jayden Daniels. And that one I could understand. You can't hit a quarterback under the knees. That's part of the new roughing the passer penalty rules. Hate it all you want. Think it's soft, whatever. But that's the definition of the rule. And Brisker initiated contact at the knee and below the knee. So it's a penalty. And that's unfortunate, because that was a crucial third down stop late in the game. Fortunately, that was the same drive that Washington would fumble the ball to give the Bears a chance with under 3 minutes to play. But that was also a backbreaking penalty. offensively, the Bears had a couple penalties called against them that really ruined drives. An offensive pass interference call against Colston Loveland took a would-be first down, now back to 2nd and 20. And that why I also felt like that was a little like, but I think the defensive back was able to sell the contact enough to get the flag drawn. And so that led to a drive stall. But there's the thing. Great teams don't let those types of things derail drives. I think they were still able to score points, but still that they were moving, they had momentum, and they had to settle for 3 points on that drive. And then there was an offsides call against DJ Moore when the team is backed up inside their own 10. And it was a first down play. Caleb Williams found Cole Kmet, and he shoved his way for another 5 yards to pick up a first, making Commanders tacklers fail to bring him down. And it was called back, and then the drive stalled. And again, that drive shouldn't have stalled because they actually had a really good play drawn up on 2nd and 16 or whatever it was, from the 2. Caleb Williams throwing from his own end zone, and Olamide Zaccheaus running in stride hits the pass right on the numbers, and he drops it. I mean, that was not only a first down, but he could have been gone for a touchdown. And that sort of, it felt like that grass was wide open for Zaccheaus, but he just had it fall on the ground, and they had to punt. Which brings us to the most egregious call. You think some of these other ones have been egregious. We talk about the illegal formation against Theo Benedict that took away a touchdown. 3rd down, Bears in the red zone. And there's a flag right as the play is snapped. They let it roll. Caleb Williams throws a beauty of a fade pass to Roma Dunze, who tracks it and makes an outstanding catch. I mean, seriously, what a catch from Roma Dunze. And they call it back for illegal formation. That was insane. They explained it. The top of the helmet of these outside linemen has to be in the line with the butt of the center. And Benedict lined up a little too far back. And it wipes away a touchdown. And my biggest problem with that is the fact that the officiating crew didn't call this play dead when they noticed it. They threw the flag and didn't blow they didn't blow this play dead. And, well, that sucks because it takes a touchdown off the board. And the ensuing kick that happened from Jake Moody was blocked. It was blocked. So they ended up going from 7 points to no points on that drive. No, I lied. That came later. The Bears did kick a field goal, but it's a 4-point swing. That was the kick that made it 16-10. My bad. But penalties hurt the Bears a lot. 9 penalties for 84 yards. Washington had just 5 for 40 yards, and I can tell you off the top of my head, I know at least 2 of those penalties were on kickoffs. So they were not called for a lot of penalties. The one thing I will say that is very nice from the Bears' perspective, no false start penalties on the offensive line, no holding calls against the offensive line, no offensive line penalties outside of the Theo Benedict illegal formation. So I will give them credit for that. The Bears had to punt away with about 6 minutes to go from their own end zone. Torrey Taylor did a good job with a couple punts he had. He pinned them inside the 10 one time. Did a really nice job. I really liked what I saw from Torrey Taylor in this one. But Washington gets the ball and tries to run out the clock. You can tell it's what they're trying to do right away with Ja'Cory Croskey-Merritt. And by the way, Washington's rushing offense coming into this game, the number 1 rushing offense in the league. The Bears' rushing defense, the 32nd, a.k.a. the worst rush defense in the National Football League. And on that final drive, they allow some yards. They're allowing a couple first downs. It's 3rd and 1 after a Jayden Daniels scramble. And he fumbles the ball. Jayden Daniels fumbled the ball. That's all you have to say. It's the first fumble lost in Jayden Daniels' career. I already said that, but that's huge because he bobbled the handoff, and it's on the ground, and Nashawn Wright falls on it. A guy who had a nightmare game. 2 brutal penalties on 3rd down to give Washington first downs, and then he bit so hard on a fake screen that let Luke McCaffrey run wide open for a touchdown. That's great for him. He recovers the fumble, gets the Bears the ball back, and, I mean, again, I already said it. They run it down their throats. The 31st, I think it was 31st specifically, the 31st best running offense, aka second worst running offense in the National Football League, just ran the football down Washington's throats to end the game. The Bears outrushed the Commanders in this game. That's right, one of the worst running offenses in the league outrushed the best rushing offense in the league, who, oh, by the way, was playing the worst run defense in the league. Explain to me how that is possible. Explain to me how Chicago outrushed Washington by about 20 yards in this game. It's insane how that happened. And that's a huge reason why they won this football game. Huge! I'm not going to lie, I was not expecting Jayden Daniels to throw 3 touchdowns in this game solely for the fact that they'd be running it down the Bears' throats so effectively that Jayden Daniels would not need to throw more than 20 times. Like, I genuinely thought this rushing offense was going to walk all over that Bears rush defense, but they didn't. They held their own. And they forced Croskey-Merritt to fumble in the first quarter, too. It wasn't just the fumble in the final 5 minutes of the game. They forced a fumble earlier in the game, which Montez Sweat with a forced fumble. And right now on the stat sheet it says Kyler Gordon gets the fumble recovery, but I thought it was TJ Edwards who came up with it. We'll see if they, correct that. But regardless, it's a fumble and a recovery for Chicago. And Montez Sweat, I got to give credit. The guy played a pretty good game. He got some pressure on Jayden Daniels, even though he didn't sack him. He had a forced fumble, and he had a pass defense on Jayden Daniels in the fourth quarter. Like, he played well despite not getting a sack, and I think that his presence was felt, and that was huge. The defensive line didn't play like garbage in this game. All in all, I'm so overjoyed at this victory, man. Oh my gosh. It still feels surreal. They pick up Jake Moody off to put him on the practice squad after Cairo Santos misses a field goal week 1 and Jake Moody gets cut by the Niners. He's been on the practice squad for a little bit. They activate him for today's game because Cairo Santos is dealing with some sort of injury, and he came to play. I mean, he wasn't necessarily super tested in this game, I will admit. Didn't have to kick a 50-plus yarder, but that also was a testament to the offense, to not put their kicker in undesirable situations. 3 kicks from 40 to 50 yards. It was 41, 46, and 48 that he made, if I'm not mistaken. And then the game-winning kick was from 38. I mean, 4 for 5. He had the block kick was bad, but at the same time, Washington had a field goal doink off the upright in the first half. So it kind of it neutrals itself out. Both teams left 3 points on the board because their kickers missed a field goal. Like, it really does feel like this team, the culture shifting. Like, I genuinely believe it now. They started 0-2 with a blown lead in the fourth quarter and a blowout loss against 2 divisional opponents. And they've rallied to win 3 in a row, 2 of which were on the road. And both in tight contests, too. Like, they were both tight, and they found ways to come out as the victors. I mean, and now looking at their schedule ahead, despite it looking pretty tough this season, it's pretty favorable for the next month. I don't know, man. I this is the best I've felt about this Bears team, or just the Bears in general, since 2018. This is the best I've felt about them. Like, I genuinely feel like this team is on the rise. It's crazy to think about, but thinking about this team being good brings a tear to my eye, because it's been, like, the crash and burn after 2018 was super hard to stomach. Despite the playoff berth in 2020. Like, the crash and burn after that season was brutal. And just since they moved on from Trubisky and Nagy, it's been really rough. Those couple of years with Eberflus were... Oh! But I really do think the trend, the arrow's pointing up for this franchise. And, I mean, these are two gutsy wins against the Raiders and Commanders. Before you all go today, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with a bit of a fun stat of the day, let's call it. From the ESPN Insights Twitter account, the Bears are the second team to win consecutive games by 1 point with the same final score in NFL history. Like, they won 25-24 in 2 consecutive games, right? The previous instance came all the way back in 1926 when the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets rattled off a pair of 7-6 wins over the Detroit Panthers and the Chicago Bears. That just kind of makes you think and step back and just really put into perspective, holy cow, that was 100 years ago the last time something like this happened in the NFL. But another fun stat that I'd like to share with you as well. One more before you go. Caleb Williams is the first Bears quarterback to throw for 200 yards and 1 passing touchdown in each of his first 5 games. First 5 starts, I believe, was the actual stat, but the fact that that has not been done is insane. Is that an unbelievable feat? No, I mean, 200 yards and 1 passing touchdown isn't necessarily a lot to ask out of a quarterback in an individual game, but to do it for 5 consecutive games to start a season, it shows some sort of consistency. And so that is it. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Please hit that subscribe button if you really enjoyed this video and want to see more videos from me. Please keep the conversation going in the comments section below. Let me know how you feel about a humongous Bears win over the Washington Commanders, exacting their revenge for the Hail Mary last season. And without further ado, I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.